I really should be editing, but I don't want to do any editing right now. I want to do some knitting instead, so we're gonna make another sweater. I have seen a bunch of reels and Instagram stuff where the young people make these like diaphanous, lightweight, fuzzy, boxy, shapeless sweater things, and I have been inspired. They seem to use dyed mohair in like fun colors. I don't work with mohair because it makes me want to peel my skin off, but I have... Get the yarn! I have been looking for a mohair alternative, and what I have found is this alpaca with a linen core that I found on Color Mart. I will link it in the description. It is nice and fuzzy and it blooms nicely when it's blocked. And I'm gonna use that with this silk wool hand-dyed blend that I got as a gift a while back. It is, what is it? Always and Forever custom creation. I believe it came from Etsy, but it was a gift, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, it's superwash. Superwash from Merino and mulberry silk in the color Fire and Ice. Already made a swatch. I'm gonna make this on my bulky using the plaiting feeder. It'll hold the fuzzy strand on the outside of the work and then the colorful strand on the inside. So we get fuzzy on the outside and a little bit less colorful, so it's more muted. And I'm gonna use my drop shoulder boxy easy sweater pattern and go from there. This should be pretty quick because I'm making it on my bulky and it'll be nice and lightweight. I'm starting with an E-wrap cast on. This will let the hem roll up naturally. I'm working from my drop shoulder sweater pattern. There's a link to it and a tutorial in the description. Main yarn goes through this hole here, but there is a second channel back here that we're going to put the second yarn through. The plaiting feeder is built into the bulky machines. I'm actually going to come up from the bottom. I'm bringing my hook up from the bottom. And we're gonna pull that yarn through. And I know it's hard to tell, but these yarns are going through different channels. The blue one is in the back. You can kind of see it there. And then the fuzzy one is in the front. You can see they're separated. And these are gonna get knit on different sides of the garment. Well, they're gonna look like they're on different sides of the garment. The first row was a bit of a struggle. I didn't find out until later, but the fuzzy yarn actually broke at one point. I should have cast on more loosely. I left a yarn marker for the sleeve assembly. And then shaped the shoulders at the top with short rows. Camera! I left a yarn marker for the shoulder seams. Then we bind up. Ooh, that's a nice pulling. Seam the shoulders first. Then try it on to measure the desired sleeve length. I cast on more loosely for the sleeves, but it was still a struggle. These are just a big rectangle that I'm finishing with waste yarn. Now let's fix the broken cast-on edge from the front piece. I put stitch markers in the live stitches to make sure that they wouldn't unravel further. And now I'm going over the hem, duplicating the way the original cast-on would have looked. I used my latch hook tool to fix any stitches that had unraveled. All right, I have the body assembled and the hem fixed. I have a sleeve and I have another sleeve, and I'm gonna stop here and block this whole project before assembly because the gauge has turned out a lot different than I expected it to. So I'm hoping that once it's blocked and has time to relax, it'll be more like my gauge swatch, which it should be. So let's go wash these and then let them dry, and then I'll come back and assemble. We are on the floor in my living room. I blocked the pieces of the sweater and then I moved them up to the fireplace so that the Roomba wouldn't eat them. But now they are in their final form and I'm realizing that the gauge is not what I expected it to be. Let me check it now. From my gauge swatch, I had 3 stitches per inch and 5 rows per inch, but these blocked pieces come out to more like, how do I count? Counting is hard. So that's gonna be 3.5 stitches per inch, 4.5 rows per inch. So it is longer and narrower than I was expecting, but this is still salvageable because this is like a nice boxy shapeless top. So I can just connect the arms differently and it'll be fine. And the sleeves I made short anyway, so they're just gonna be a little longer than I was expecting them to be, which is fine. It's fine, it's fine. What have we learned from this process? We have learned, make a bigger gauge swatch. I think that was my biggest problem here. Also, I think I was using more weight on the actual garment than I was using on the gauge swatch, and that made it a little longer than I wanted it to be. I'm still not very comfortable working with natural materials. I work mostly with acrylic because I have really sensitive skin, and natural fibers require more care and more attention, and it's just something that I'm going to have to learn as I go. And it's something that I'm learning the hard way, which is not the end of the world, but it doesn't make life very easy. It's gonna be okay. All right, let's take this over for assembly. I redid the math for the sleeves, so now I'm counting to figure out where the underarm marker should actually go. And now I can hang the body back on the machine to seam the sleeves. I left a long tail of yarn that I bundled up so it stayed out of the way during blocking. I just like to try on sweaters in their intermediate states. Here's the final sweater. It did not turn out exactly as I had intended, but it's still pretty cool. I think in the try-on I showed you the other side, but this is the same in the front and the back, so you can wear it either way. It is so soft. Alpaca has none of that, like, itchiness that comes with, like, wool from sheep. So I'm gonna wear this all the friggin' time. I had things I wanted to say. What were those things? So what did we learn? We learned make a bigger swatch. We've learned that mistakes are not the end of the world. Most of them can be fixed. This is just yarn. Here's the thing. You can't let the fear of making mistakes keep you from doing things, because then you'll never do anything. Like, making mistakes is okay, and doing things that you're not comfortable with is okay, as long as you learn from the process and you fix your mistakes or you do better next time. It was worth the time and effort. And this was absolutely worth the time and effort, because now I know that natural fibers are not to be feared and I can work with them. I just need to put a little more effort into the process. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's a good sweater. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Happy knitting. That's what we're going with.